changed your name so many times, haven't you?
Well, when the end of '77 came, and I'd also by then recruited my school pal Pete Petrol, because he had a car, and I got some London gigs. People were trying to book us to play in London, although they weren't going to pay us. We had to argue over the fee after we'd performed. And so we'd driven all the way down from Birmingham to London to and called Spizz 77, and he was called Pete Plectrum because he played guitar, because I delegated him to play guitar, and I could do all the jumping and running around. And I thought Spizz 78, that's not going to be very good, and I didn't want to be called Spizz 77 still the following year. And then I saw the programme about the oil rigs being moved across the Earth's surface as the largest man-made objects, and Tony Benn switching on the oil, and I thought, yeah, SPIZZOIL, and that was a symmetrical name.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I thought, it's great design fun. So I started designing SPIZZOIL, and then Pete wasn't hard to persuade him to change his name to Pete Petrol. And away we went. Genius. So then we changed. That was our first name change, you see. And
did you have other bandmates, you know, obviously Sid Vicious and Johnny Rotten, etc., and SPIZZENERGI, Pete Petrol? Did you have other band members had different names?
When Metamorphosis into, well, basically, me and Pete fell out at the end of '78, and I met with my girlfriend, a bass player and a keyboard player, and another guitarist, but he was sacked after the first rehearsal. Because he didn't like what we were doing. So, but
well, he got a shock.
And Mark Caulfield. So that's how his name, because it's Mike Oldfield, Mark Caulfield, because he was like musically most talented. So we called him Mark Caulfield, and then Jim, because he had started bleaching his hair, we called him Jim Solo. So they're all forms of energy, you know.
Absolutely. So there was a marketing plan in place, and it's had the punk ethic as well.
Everyone else had funny made-up names, you know.
Absolutely.
Sid Vicious and Johnny Rotten. So we thought it was normal.
Yeah. Joe Strummer. Brilliant.
Of course, Bowie changed his name because of Jones. Davy Jones of the Monkees was already famous, so it seemed like a normal thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely. So what came after SPIZZOIL then?
Well, SPIZZENERGI
was
came
next.
After SPIZZOIL, '79, and then we released a couple more Rough Trade singles, and then people were saying, well, you know, you must be changing your name next year, because new decade. I thought, yeah, well, but we sort of agreed with people that, yeah, we shouldn't be changing our name, and we've now got a stable lineup, because we had 7 guitarists in '79.
In 1 year?
And 3 drummers.
Dear me, sounds like the Chelsea manager trail, doesn't it?
So yeah, it was. I mean, there's never been really an original lineup, so you can't have a renovation of the original lineup.
Well, all the guitarists worn out, were they?
Well, one of them hid behind the PA.
You're kidding me?
Because he just got stage fright. We took his first gig was to play at the 100 Club, and he just hid. And you can't have someone hiding when you try to rock out. Another one, every time he thought he was getting a chord wrong, he turned down. And of course, we'd rather you turned up.
Absolutely, yeah. 311, yeah.
He had to go after 1 gig. People only really got 1 gig chance. If they didn't get it on the first gig.
Absolutely.
They didn't get a second chance. Yeah.
So what was the name then that you picked?
That was their person's names.
No, sorry. The name of in the new decade, you were coming up with the new
Athletico Spizz 80.
Atletico Spizz 80.
Because we were quite, slightly left a bunch, and when we saw that Thatcher and Reagan were dictating to athletes, how often some athletes only get 1 shot at the Olympics. They're not around for.
Oh, this was Los Angeles.
Olympics. No, this is Moscow.
Oh, Moscow, of course, yeah.
So Moscow was right. You can't go to Moscow because of Afghanistan invasion.
Yeah.
So we thought, well, if I was an athlete, I'd still go. And to their credit, a lot of athletes did still turn up.
Break the boycott, yeah.
Hey?
So that's where that came from.
So that's why we called ourselves Athletico Spizz 80. And then I sort of remodeled the German Munich Olympic Games athlete runner logo, because he looked a bit too thin, so I sort of chunkied him up a bit and gave him a shoulder. And that became our logo. But I still prefer the SPIZZENERGI logo because I made up that from scratch myself.
So from your art school, art college roots, that's how you actually do all these designs yourself, don't you?
Yeah, this letter set this font was on a side of a truck called Spices.
Oh yeah, I know that.
Yeah, but
Seen
the
them on the motorway.
S I thought was a bit ugly, so I rounded off. I rounded off the S, and I didn't like the dot with the I, so I made the I solid. And I changed the N, obviously, to give it the energy sort of flash.
Yeah.
And so I think I've rounded off the G and the R as well to make them a bit smoother.
So you've altered an existing font to Spizzize it.
Yeah.
To him, mate.
Spizzize it. Very good.
And what do you use to do all this artwork? Because I've seen some stuff on your walls as well. Up
to 79, it was all photocopiers or
of course, yeah,
hand drawn.
Yeah.
The Captain Kirk sleeve is because the other thing I did when I was at art college, I wasn't lazy, but I just liked the way that certain machines could reduce quickly. You know how the punk look at black and white, all the shades have gone.
Yeah.
Like Graham Parker and the Brimmer look, and even the Clash first LP sleeve, it's got
absolutely, yeah.
That picture. It's all like stripped down black and white, and I love that effect. So when I got a picture of Kirk, and there was this new machine at my local photocopier shop, and it looked brilliant. So I thought that's the sleeve, and then I coloured it Warhol style with the yellow big.
Absolutely, the lips.
Cut his lips in and his eyes to make it sort of Warhol-esque.
He looks like he's had collagen, doesn't he?
Well, some people think some people who don't know it's Captain Kirk Shatner. They think it's the Joker, like the smudgy recent Joker lipstick thing, but obviously not. Brilliant.
And you use a Mac today, don't you?
Yeah. When I got the first Cherry Red reissue on CD, I got a little slice of the pie, and I didn't know what sort of computer to get, and I still hadn't got one yet, and this is 96, and all my music friends like Martin Ware and graphic designers were all Mac.
Right.
So it's a get a Mac, so I got a Mac. And I did actually win a PC once, but I didn't like it, but I did some spreadsheet course with the local council.
Well, Mac's without doubt the ultimate for design and possibly for music. I use PCs, but definitely the ultimate, aren't they, in terms of design?
Well, my daughter and my son have both got laptop PC type things, and I've got unfortunately my good Mac is a bit.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, picked it up on your Facebook page.
Currently using. My one I use for emails, which is you can't even load a Facebook page, so it's a nightmare.
Nightmare. Well, it's like losing your left hand, isn't it? So what happened after Athletico Spizz 80? What was the next name change?
Where Mark and Dave left the band, and we got Lou from the Damned in.
All right.
And he recorded the album, the second album of this. And then, of course, Athletico, the Olympics were over. The band had changed again, so we thought, let's call ourselves something else. So it was more our manager who thought, he was a big Beatles fan.
Yeah.
He thought we should call the SPIZZOIL, you see.
The what, sorry? SPIZZOIL?
Which isn't really the most popular name that we used. But obviously I was thinking, oh yeah, we're going to be big as the Beatles. Yeah.
What's he called? What did he call them? The SPIZZOILs?
Spizzles.
Oh dear me.
The Spizzles.
That's dreadful, isn't it?
It's dreadful, really. It's a bit too. It was taking us in the wrong direction.
Oh, absolutely.
And what happened? We did the American tour. Everything fell apart anyway. So then we regrouped with the original drummer from Soldier West, Captain Kirk. He rejoined us, and we did a couple of singles with Rough Trade as SPIZZENERGI 2, trying to like the sequel back to the same, almost the same lineup. With Pete Petrel coming back in, another guitarist instead of a keyboard player, and Jim on bass, and that was the SPIZZENERGI 2. We did a couple of big gigs, but the whole there was just a lot of what a lot of bands go through after a couple of years. Some band members you like, some you don't,
Yeah, well, it's difficult being on the road, isn't it?
Whatever.
You're in each other's pockets all the time, aren't you? It's going to happen, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, in some ways that's make friends forever, which, me and Jim and Dave Scott and Pete Petrol are all on pretty good speaking terms.
Good.
I still play with Pete. Pete comes over from New Zealand, and we do a couple of SPIZZOIL shows.
Oh, fantastic.
Which is another brilliant thing about the name changes now. I can just pop into each genre. So if it's me and Pete, and we get Alan Wave in, the original first SPIZZENERGI drummer, he comes in, and so now we're like SPIZZOIL was a trio with Alan, me, and Pete, and we do a mixture of all the oldie stuff plus a couple of the more current stuff. And you only get 6,000 Crazy and Full as SPIZZOIL.
Oh, okay.
So I only do it as an intro with SPIZZENERGI, and then we go into, because we've got a full band in it. It's a bit of a difficult song to play as a full band. So.
Right. And is that the end of the name changes?
No, I just kept going, didn't I? So SPIZZENERGI 2, and then as I say, everything fell apart. So I went solo with some backing tracks, which Ian Page from Secret Affair helped me with his recording studio and the keyboard, and so did some backing tracks. And I thought, well, it's a year before 1984, 1983, SPIZZORWELL.
Spizz what?
Deafening silence.
I missed it, sorry.
SPIZZORWELL.
Oh, well, 94, yeah.
A year before I wanted to be a step ahead of everyone, so like a fool, I was 2 ahead.
Well, that's it, yeah, ahead of the game, and people miss it, yeah.
Yeah, so when everyone else has gone to see the film 1984, it was now at 1984, and I'd changed my name again because I thought it hadn't worked, so... now I was going to call myself Spizz and the Astronaughtiees because I had an all-girl backing group.
That was fun, wasn't it? And what year was that?
That's 1984.
Dear me. I mean, that's quite...
I also called it, we did a big show at the Marquee Club, and I called it The Last Future Show. Being like 1984, the end of everything and all that sort of stuff.
Absolutely,
and then it was going to be a club act, so we thought, well, let's do some clubs, and I thought a couple of the girls thought were quite ambitious, and they said this could really take off. So I thought, it's time for a name change then. So I called it Spizz's Big Business.
Dear me.
One of my favourite scenes from there's a Laurel and Hardy film where they set up shop, and they have a rival next door, and they start smashing each other's shops up. But one of the signs that Oliver Hardy puts in the window is "Open for Big Business."
Yeah, absolutely.
It just tickles me, that phrase. You're not just open for business; you're open for big business.
And did you copyright all these names?
Well, what's the point?
Because they're moving so quick, yeah.
There's certain names I'm not going to go back to,
No. And so what happened after Spizz's Big Business?
Well, the backing tracks things was too restrictive for my particular way of performing. So through another girlfriend, Claire King, she introduced me to this other band, who the singer was going to take a sabbatical because he was just getting married. He was going to leave the band for a year. And so they said, well, we'll be your backing band for a year. And they were called Friends of Gavin, and then they became rebranded as Spizzsexual.
Dear me. How do you keep track of all this?
A couple of raunchy dancers on stage with us. We were playing like pretty hard rock, punk rock.
Dear me. That'd be good size.
We started finishing in the Marquee Club a couple of times, and we did a few good shows.
Have you got any footage of all these? Have you got any footage of all this?
There's some footage of the Spizzsexual. Yeah, I had a couple of cameras up. Got some songs on they were on YouTube. I might have that one again.
Yeah, because you've got your own YouTube channel, haven't you?
I have got some stuff on there. Yeah.
And what's that called?
But it's all on. It's all done on early video to digital conversions. So it's all a bit low grade, but tapes are blurring as they get older, aren't they? So.
But it's a great piece of history, isn't it? So
I'll try, when I get my machine back up, I'll try and redo them a bit and see if we can get them up.
No, that'd be great.
I'll send them to you.
Absolutely. I'd love to see them, and I'd love to publish them through your site. What's your site called? Your YouTube channel?
SPIZZENERGI, DOT, as in dot, com. Pretty sure.
Okay. Well, I'll put a copy of that up on the video with the image of it, so that'll be great. And is that the end of the name changes?
No.
Or does it go on?
So right up to.
I knew the answer to that was going to be no.
Catalog everything by having all the different name changes. So that's 85, 86, 87. I met up with Jim again, who'd started a little record label, and Nicky Tesco, the members, wanted to do a sort of a dance remix, re-record rather, of Where's Captain Kirk with a bit of Zodiac Mind Warp slung in for good measure, and we did a dance 12-inch mix of Where's Captain Kirk, and we just put that out straight forward as Spizz, no mess in there, just Spizz solo with the production team. And it was alright. It got to #1 in the Viz chart.
Brilliant.
Because it's the only chart where money talks. You can
absolutely
openly corrupt you. You just pay for the most money that month gets you in the top of the Viz chart.
And that was the remix. That sounds interesting.
And that was the remix, yeah.
Is that still available?
Reissue rather. Yeah, I've got a couple of copies here.
Have you got that? I mean, yeah. Well,
I think it's on the first. It's on the first Cherry Red compilation.
Is it?
Which is out of print, but I've got a couple of copies here.
Should digitise it.
What else happened? Say 88, 89, 88. Spizz Orbit 88, which was a band formed with Lowell Hammond and a couple of his mates who were in a band called Kiss That, and Ian Page came in on keyboards. So we did a couple of shows. So we did a fashion Kensington Market Christmas party or something at the Limelight in 1988, and in 1989 I met these guys through an old friend, Andy Blade of Eta, and he introduced me to these like quite metal-y geezers, and I nearly called it Spizz Metal, but I wanted to call it Spizzy Vision, and that was another name. That's 89. Then we got up to 90, which Pete Petrol and me, we thought let's go techno, and became a sort of techno SPIZZOIL with another chap from South London doing all the programming, and
so the name evolved. The name evolved and the sound evolved.
We kept. I mean, I was looking for something different. I mean, the chameleon.
Absolutely.
But without the budget, these things, if they didn't take off straight away, I had to just move on. Really.
Yeah.
So then we up to 91, where my missus had a couple of sales blokes. And with my drummer from the metal band and the new bassist and new guitarist, we did some shows from 91 till 96 as SPIZZENERGI. That was it. I'd finished with the name changes because someone suggested I write to the Guinness Book of Records and say, you probably are the only guy who's recorded the most number of different songs under different names.
Absolutely.
And you should be in the Guinness Book of Records. So I just toddled off a letter saying, by the way, I've done this, done that. And then they said, they got a letter back from the deputy editor, Sheila Thomas, and she said, I'm afraid your claim to a record is a bit too specialist.
You're kidding me?
And I often remind people, a specialist? Someone's been in the Guinness Book of Records.
Popular music.
And eating it.
Absolutely.
And they're in the Guinness Book of Records. How more specialist can you get?
Absolutely. Well, some of the rubbish that you get in there, the ridiculous things that people get records for.
Yes, by the way, I bought Where's Captain Kirk? Oh, that should be a shoe-in.
Absolutely.
So that's why, that's it. If the Guinness Book of Record, I'm going to recognise my name changes or anything, so I just thought I don't need to do that. But I do. I've still done it because I did a single release for Damaged Goods Christmas flexi disc called Spizzmas, as Spizzmas. It was, and that came out in '94, I think that was. And then I did. I've got the Italian band, so that's got its own name, Spizz Italia. And then I've got. But SPIZZENERGI is the thing that most people know, so I'm sticking with it now.
So
I still have fun.
Absolutely, and I think most marketing managers would say, what the hell's going on, Spizz? Most people would like to build a brand, keep the name the same, and you've had so many name changes, interesting name changes. What do you say to those people?
Well, several things really. Well, the whole thing about punk was about change.
Absolutely, blow the old away. Yeah,
and not being stuck in your ways. The other thing is, why not?
Absolutely.
And Frank Seibert told me, when people say, why do you keep changing your name? Just say, your mother told you to.
Absolutely, yeah. You've been a very naughty boy.
You just say your mother told you to. Well,
It's not been commercial suicide, has it?
The thing is now, with the internet and social networking, I can now brand any particular event in the name I fancy.
Absolutely.
And how refreshing is that? You know what I mean? Why can't you do?
Well, it makes you a real person of interest, an artist of interest. Your CV, if you actually typed all this up, your CV must be about 4 pages long, mustn't it?
This is why I can't get a proper job.
Page 3, page 4, it's supposed to be on 1 or 2 pages.
Yeah.
Dear me. So we've got loads to talk about the coming weeks, but and this has just been a taster. What's coming up? I know you've got some exciting things coming up in the next week or two.
I've got the beginning of June. I'm off to Milan to play with Spizz Italia for the fourth Spizz Italia gig in Milan. I've got some guys there who learn all my stuff, and we actually written one, which is presumably we're going to play again. We only played it once, and that's on June the 1st. Then on June the 6th, one of my new guitarists, because I changed the lineup in October last year, 2012, and there's a Bowie, some kind of Bowie night with I think Charles Sharma is doing some talking, and there's going to be some screenings of stuff, and a few people are doing Bowie songs. We're going to do a couple of Bowie songs, sort of like acoustically.
Fantastic. Which ones have you chosen?
I'm not sure it's supposed to be a surprise.
Okay, say no more. Say no more. He looks cool, your new guitarist.
I've already said it on Facebook. I think it's we're going to do Rebel Rebel and Lady Grinning Soul.
Brilliant.
Which is not a song David does anymore, I don't think.
That'd be fantastic. And can people still buy tickets for these shows?
I think it's free, the Bowie one.
Right. Could that be?
I don't know about the Italian stuff until I get there.
That'll be.
And then I've got Bristol in. Hang on, where's my diary? My wall planner. September is somewhere. I haven't got my glasses on. Hang on. Anyway, we've got Bristol coming up, and Germany in October. Bristol's in November. We've got Scotland in September.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Well, we'll talk about those again.
Yeah.
Great talking to you this morning, Spizz. And we'll see you on the net and around the world.
Aye.
All the best to you.
Thank you.
Cheers, Spizz.
Bye.